He was like, I will come down there and f*** you up.
Does this guy believe in the Bill of Rights or something?
Yep, I'm a working class guy and showing my hands. And
You sound like you're on crack.
I filed a bill that got about 550 game wardens super pissed at me. Like, I voted for that mother.
It's the other way around. You know who I am.
I'm a statesman.
The ban against lovely lady spaces. The acronym is B.A.L.S. It was going to be the B.A.L.S Act.
I need to get into politics. You're having way too much fun.
Yeah, Tackett, can you get off your phone and
Stop f***ing around.
We have a statesman.
That's right.
The statesman. I know, it's so much bullshit. Did you guys all call each other and talk about college?
Wait, let
So
me do
I
the
was-
intro
I didn't go
before
to
you, just
college.
let me just do the intro
That's
because you're
fine.
gonna
Stop.
because you were just gonna go.
Well, I'm on the wrong side this week.
All of my things are mixing. Scoot over. Scoot back.
That's the middle.
You're the middle.
We're sorry for them. And hello and welcome to Man vs. Morning. We are so glad that you're here. I'm Jake Watson, and today I'm sitting on the wrong side because my lovely co-hosts Nolan the Sandalorian and Tackett the Tactician have brought in our honored guest, Texas Representative Wes Virdell. What's going on?
Do you shake his hand now that everything's all backwards and we're Bizarro Man?
Wait,
versus
no, I
Morning?
shake Jake's hand.
There you go.
Oh no, it's Jake. There it is.
Thanks for
part of
being
the
here,
club.
bud.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's awesome to be here. I'm glad wanted to be on this for a while, so I appreciate that a lot.
Remind me, what district are you?
Yeah, I'm House District 53, so I have the second largest district in the state of Texas. I like to brag about that. And
It's a big one.
it goes all the way from this area, we touch Bexar County line, all the way to Fort Stockton. It's about 377 miles long, 16 counties.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, it's pretty
Almost as big as some ranches.
cool. Yeah.
You're getting
It's actually
Yeah.
just one ranch.
Interesting fact, University of Texas, or what we call the university lands, they have 2.1 million acres of land in Texas, and 1/3 of it's in my district. That's how
Wow.
big my district
Oh
is.
That's
my
wild.
goodness.
Pretty crazy.
And that's only like 10% of Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even.
Yeah.
Texas is massive. What one of the biggest questions I have is how did you get involved in this? Like how did you get involved being a statesman?
Yeah, I'm not a normal candidate. Like I'm a diesel mechanic and a truck driver, and I was Air Force before. I took the easy way out in life.
The first time I met you, I gave you a bunch
Yeah.
of shit.
I found if I just make that joke to begin with, it takes away all the power from the Marines and the Army guys
There you
to
go.
make fun
It's
of
true.
us.
There you go.
So, like,
That's
damn
all
it.
they have.
Yeah,
That's all they
You
have.
weren't as much of a man as me.
Certainly not the equipment or the creature.
we've always got the
comforts. They
Navy
don't
to
have
make
that.
fun of. So
That's right.
No, it's I got into gun rights back in 2011. There was a incident with a life-changing event where like a switch flipped inside of me, and I just decided I'm going to be the best at shooting that I can be, the best at fighting that I can be, and that got me into politics, and then here we are now. What is that? 14 years later, so pretty wild.
I love it though. That's why, like, after meeting you for the first time, which was kind of where I wanted to go at the beginning of this, was like how like the three of us know each other because that was that was a weird trip. But
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed
Well, I
it.
want to hear that. I think we
Yeah.
should. I think we should start with that.
I just like that you're a normal human being that got into politics, and it's
Yeah.
like rare. It's hard to find. So
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, the way I met Wes, I was working out in California at the time, and Tackett calls me, and he goes, "Hey, you want to do something crazy?"
Tackett at 130 pounds, and I didn't really know Nolan, and I was like, "Hey, we're gonna go jump the border. You want to go?"
And I said, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, so GOA, they reached out to me, and we're going to do this thing at the border. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "I don't know what you're saying. You sound like you're on crack."
Yeah, I was excited about it. Dude.
And,
Still don't have a passport.
and 36 minutes later,
Allegedly.
Allegedly. 36 minutes later, I had a flight to Texas, flew down, and
Yeah.
you were kind of organizing, like getting us there, correct?
Yeah, I was a state director at the time
Yeah.
for Gunners of America. I was grateful for that job. That's done now and I've moved on, but I was grateful for the opportunity to be there. And that was fun. That was all the border stuff. Shelby Park was going on, and I hadn't been down to the border a lot, and so it was good to actually see. And it was fun to do it with y'all. Y'all made the trip a lot funner.
Well,
Oh,
thank
we were
you,
having
sir.
a blast.
It was so eye-opening getting down there and actually like seeing it firsthand, like you were saying. It was that, what is it, 500 yards of Conexes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really pretty camera shot.
Yeah, it's a great backdrop for camera. That was something that kind of tore me on it, was like being able to go down there and realize that like there was a benefit from both sides of the political aisle for the immigration crisis, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like
Yeah.
it's not to say that Abbott was encouraging it or allowing it, but it was also like, if this was a solved problem, it kind of takes the wind out of the Republican conservative side. Like, what are we rallying together to fix? And it was like being able to see it in person. It was the first time that I was able to see like, oh, I see how dirty politics can get real quick.
Marketing,
Yeah.
baby.
Like, yeah.
You got to have super thick skin to be in politics, and it's one day whoever's your enemy or adversary at that time, the next day they're probably your foe or friend that you got to work with. So it's a interesting thing. So
I can only imagine like what you were thinking at the time. Like, we just met each other, and we're 2 days in. We're trying to find a way into the
Found these California hippies, and now they're here.
This press
trying to
I don't know what the
barricade.
hell to do with them.
We keep trying to sneak past this like police line, and it's not going well.
I remember.
Jeez, I wonder why.
I remember.
They were
at one
pretty
point,
serious about like, we don't get to go where the governor
Governor
is gonna
being
be.
there. They were, I don't know.
Oh no, it's like 17 state governors or something.
Yeah.
y'all made it.
I
I don't know what
remember
the problem was.
At one point, we got in this truck with this guy that we had met who had a press pass. And we just rolled down the window. We're like, Wes, we got our way in. Fine. Then the next,
He pulled up to where the cop, like, it was the same cop we'd interacted with for like 2 days that was like not having it. And this guy pulls up and like shows his press credentials, and we looked at him. We were like, can we get in with you? And he was like, and we just kind of got in his truck.
Was that Stringer?
Yeah. And the guy was like, just quiet and kind of uncomfortable, but like he was stuck with it. Like, me and Nolan were in his truck now, you know?
Now it's going to be worse if he tries to kick you out.
Right.
Now
And the
there's going
cop,
to be a
the
scene.
cop just like looked at the three of us and was like,
Y'all walked over. Y'all walked across the border too.
yep. And then the next
allegedly.
thing, and the next thing that Wes hears from us is, "Hey, we're in
We're in
Mexico, and we don't have passports. We'll be back soon."
yeah, if you guys don't see us by like dinner, like go get dinner. We're probably not making it back. Like,
I got a story. So another legislator who went over there they were dove hunting, and they went to Mexico, and a bunch of guys, I guess they'd gone over there several times, and him and another guy were off in the field, and some of the guys were up by the cabin or house, and they see a bunch of trucks pull up, and a bunch of whatever bad dudes jump out and start beating the hell out of everybody, and then they come down there, they grab him and his buddy and take them back up to the house, and then they have them all on their knees while they're beating them, and then they take they're on their hands and knees, and anyways these guys like take scissors and cut their shirts off from the backside and everything.
Oh, no.
And what saved him was one of the guys that he was with had his dad's badge. His dad had passed away, and he carried his dad's badge. And when they were going through their pockets and everything, they pulled his badge out, and they freaked out. And like the bad people stepped off to the side for a minute, had a conversation, and then they all jumped in their trucks and took off. That was their saving grace. Was
Oh my
shit.
Lord.
he said he was convinced they were going to be buried in the dirt, and that badge is what saved them from that.
dude,
So
that's crazy, man.
yeah, and he's a state rep out of the Houston area.
Oh my goodness.
The like college girls, like the college age kids or like high school age kids that go down there to the resorts for spring break and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
dude, not in a million years, man.
I took,
You're target number one.
I'm less concerned about the resorts. I'm more concerned about the kids who are going, let's go to Tijuana for the weekend.
Yeah, I mean the resorts. That's where the cartel is like washing their money, so
got
they're gonna make
donkeys
sure
over
that
there.
they're like, yeah. We were talking about, a veteran with a sign. He like travels and tells the donkey story. We watched some dudes in
I haven't
Afghan
seen
like
that,
violate
yeah.
a donkey.
Yeah.
We were like laughing the other day that we're gonna surprise him with a trip to Mexico and take him to a donkey show and be like, it's the other way around.
I went to Progresso one time, and that was shocking. Just gunboats running up and down the coast, and then just little Ford Rangers and all that with just turrets sitting, not I say turrets, whatever you'll call it, machine guns mounted in the back of the pickups. And I'm just like, this is a world I'm not used to.
Yeah,
So,
they're
I'm Air Force,
probably
to be
good
fair.
guys.
Right.
So,
You just looked at it from drones and just went, huh.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
But-
weird.
but no, it's
those little
that was
squiggly
fun.
lines.
Jack B
Nice,
said,
yeah.
put it there. I don't know.
Yeah, and since then we've kept in contact, and I wasn't running for office at that time, and then anyways ran again. I'd ran before, and then they spent $1 million against me trying to keep me from winning, and they from the east to the west they said I was an anti-Semite, Nazi sympathizer, child predator protector, anything you could think of.
Yep.
They tried throwing it, and none of it stuck. And luckily we knew a lot of people in the district, and they knew that wasn't my character, and so
It
that's how we
is.
won. Yeah.
I'm sure you can, I consume it from obviously the consumer side, being on social media and stuff like that. How nasty and wild is it from someone actually running for a position like that the
Yeah.
slander and how much misinformation and lies.
I got thick skin. My friends have called me worse, and so I'm all right
Even
with
in
it.
the Air Force?
But my wife and kids, like that's the ones that I feel for having to watch all that because we're not just talking about like people saying it. We're talking about them spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on TV ads and mailers, and so we would be. Brandon tells a story too, like where he was in a bar and he's watching, commercials come
Is it
across
like
later.
Outback or whatever?
Same thing, like we go to a restaurant like here in this area because they're running on the San Antonio market.
Yep.
And you just see commercials over and over trashing you.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably get excited about
Oh,
it.
look, I'm on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, I made it. I got haters.
I don't remember what
Yeah.
it's from, like an old gangster movie, but there's this idea from this old like mob movie where it's like you haven't made it successfully until the government is coming after you.
Yeah.
Like until you're like active, like the DOJ is trying to shut you up.
Yeah.
Like that's when you've made it. Like
I had fun in that race. I like trolling, and so I trolled my opponent multiple times. Like he wouldn't show up to the forums, and he would complain that they were rigged against him, and I would get online. Like and my friends are friends with him. Like it's a small world. And anyways, he would like throw a fit saying, "Oh, we're not going to do this for him because it's rigged against us." And I'm like, "Hey, I'll tell you what. Let's go have it at Joe's bar where you like to drink, and we'll do. You can have all the Bud Light you want. We can get the guy that I was originally running against can moderate it, and like so my friends are all ribbing him because I'm poking at him, and then he didn't show up for one of the forums, and so I had a buddy of mine bring a chicken. And we put it on stage and in his seat, and that was fun. His name was my opponent's name was Hatch, so we named the chicken Hatch, and we put it up on stage. So it was
Is it a live chicken?
Yeah.
it's a live chicken, and it
Hilarious.
kept doing its thing.
Just clucking around.
Yeah, while
Being a
shitting
chicken.
everywhere. Yeah, the moderator kept getting distracted and staring at the chicken, so it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Sir, it is not your time to speak.
Please stop clucking.
I would have carried that chicken everywhere for the rest of that campaign.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I see why you and Brandon get along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I get to troll a bunch of the Democrats with the, y'all saw the balls comment, and that was a lot of fun.
Can you say that for people who don't know?
Yeah.
I'll get you the footage of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I like to play the Forrest Gump character is what I call it, and I'm from Brady, Texas. And I'm a diesel mechanic, right? So I kind of fit that knuckle dragger personality or whatever.
Yeah,
and,
underestimate me.
Yeah, and I like it. And anyways, that one I was trying to be nice because it was a bunch of transgender people. The bill was about keeping males out of female juvenile detention centers, and so.
Reasonable.
Yeah, pretty
Just a
reasonable.
little.
And,
No, you're a racist
yeah.
bigot.
And so anyways, it was
racist.
very simple. And this one person, I was trying to be nice and just say, if you're born with male genitalia, and they're like, "What is male genitalia?" And I
You
just,
can see it in your face. You're like,
I know.
oh yeah, it's like when you're playing ping pong and someone gives you a good high
Yeah.
bounce, and you're like,
Yeah.
you can watch it load. Like Wes is like,
Yeah.
When you're about to hit that kid with a dodgeball.
Yeah, so I just said balls. And the funny part is you can't see it on, like I do this head nod all the time, so people just like, and then I also, friends of mine make fun of me because I'm like, yeah. And you can hear me make that in the, but anyways, I'm sitting there and you can't see it, but like I keep almost like just busting out loud laughing multiple times through that process. And it was a lot of fun. So
no, you say the video. If I remember the video right, when you say balls, the camera's on him, her, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to you, and you're like, like it's all you get. Like you are a statesman, and you're like,
yeah.
it's just an insane clown world that we live in. That like there's even a necessary for like state reps to
that
be
to
making
be
sure that boys aren't
legislated.
locked up with little girls. Like
Yeah.
that's
Well,
It's yeah.
Yeah.
it's Looney Tunes.
I had the
world.
real threat, the real feeling of a possible threat the other day, which was, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, but I'm proud that I'm the only state rep this session that got the gallery cleared out.
Oh, yeah,
And so
you
the gallery
told me
is
the
where
story.
people up above are looking down at the floor where we're doing our work. And they spent 6 hours debating on this bill. Simple bill, just saying men can't go into women's restrooms if it's basically funded by political subdivisions or whatnot. So basically, if it's kind of government funded buildings, we're saying, hey, you can't, because we don't want to tell private companies what they can and can't do with their own property. But we can say, okay, if it's taxpayer funded. So the bill just say, okay, men can't go into female restrooms. And I got up there, and they always take the bait. And I get up there to speak for the bill. Yeah, and I said, hey, look, y'all have wasted hours, talking about this bill, trying to kill time. It's as simple as saying I don't want a mail to go into a bathroom that my future granddaughter may be in. And then I walked off. And anyways, one of the protesters, the transgender people, started screaming from up there, and they had to eject that person. And then there's a lady named Erin Zwiener. She's a state rep.
You said this earlier, and it's killing me, and I'm gonna leave the low-hanging fruit.
So
away.
her
Can you
last
just say
name
that
is-
name again?
it's Aaron Zwiener.
Zwiener, yeah.
But
and,
when you put it together, you got Jack Mehoff.
Erin Zwiener. And to her credit, she's very bright. She's won Jeopardy like I think 2 or 3 times.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Against
and,
Ken?
and,
It's Ken Zwiener and Aaron Zwiener, and they're getting after it.
and she has
Jack Mehoff and Aaron Zwiener.
she has good humor. and
Seymour
so,
Butts. That's where we're
Yeah.
at.
And Mike
So-
Hunt.
So I did draft an amendment to the bill was called the Women's Privacy Act, and I drafted an amendment to rename it the Wieners Act. And,
Did they go for that?
I walked it around the house floor, and my wife is sitting up in the gallery still at this point, and I'm walking it around.
She's just like, Wes,
well,
no.
she texted me and she was like, "What is everybody laughing at?" And anyways,
You're all
I sent her,
nothing.
I sent her a picture of it, and I took it to Erin, and like she's got a good humor, but anyways, I showed it to her, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think?" And she was like, "Please don't." And I was like, "Why not?" She's like, "It's clever and funny." I said, "But I'm still getting harassed for the Oscar Mayer Wiener comment." And so what that was, she had asked another rep one time on another bill from the mic, about something, and he replied back, "My dad used to drive the Oscar Mayer Wiener van, Airmobile," and somehow that became where she got harassed a lot online for it. And so anyways, I was like, okay, I won't file this one. So then we came up with another amendment to rename the bill, and I think we called it the Ban Against Lovely Lady Spaces, and the acronym is BALLS. So it was going to be the BALLS Act, and I actually did file that one, but I didn't bring it to the floor for a vote. But
I need to get into politics. You're having way too much fun.
if you set the tone early on that's your personality, like you
Yeah.
can get away with it, and so it's fun. But anyway, so I go to the front mic, speak for the bill. Zwiener is at the. I'm trying to keep it PG as much as I can, but I know this is not a PG show, right? But
Not really.
As much as you want to keep.
Yeah.
This is your career, Wes.
I give my little
We've got
speech.
$8 separating us from homelessness.
I give my little speech and I walk off, and then one of the protesters is like yelling down at me, and they evict that protester. And then Aaron Zwiener is like, Mr. Speaker, trying to get his attention. He was like, I wanted to ask some questions. And anyways, he's like, I believe the representative has already yielded the time. And I was like, no, I'll come back. I was off already on the side talking, and like, no, I'll come back. So I came up there, and she was like, well, asking questions. And I was like, look, it's super simple. It's not complicated. And then she says, what was the question? She says, how do you know your granddaughter won't be trans? And or she said, what if your granddaughter's trans? And I was like, she won't be. And just as clear as day, just said, no, she won't be. And she's like, well, how do you know that? And I said, because we raise them different where I'm from. And
just
this got them super mad, and the Democrats are getting pretty mad at that one. And then they said something else, and I was like, look, I'm living in the reality. Y'all are living in fantasy land. And that set all the transgender activists off up there. And one of them, sorry for my language, but one of them, which was about 6 foot tall, 230s, pretty solid, and wearing a
voice gets real deep when
Yep.
they're angry.
Yeah, and wearing a
dainty
mini
woman.
skirt, is like yelling from up there. He was like, I will come down there and f you up. And
Very feminist.
Yeah.
Super
And
feminine.
you can hear me on the mic, like I yell up there. I was like, "Stay away from my daughter or my granddaughter," and it's pretty funny.
God.
But anyway,
That's
so
savage.
Jerome Amia was just like,
yeah,
They get
yeah. So they clear the whole gallery out. I was the only state rep to get the gallery cleared out this session.
That's awesome.
And then there was one more. That
They're
was fun.
inciting violence. I mean,
yeah, well, Wes was.
Well, yeah, he spoke words, which is violence.
Yeah.
And he
I
was like,
forgot you were.
You were inciting the violence.
Yeah, but I did for that moment have that fear, like, hey, that dude seems serious. Like,
Yeah.
It's
he might-
ma'am.
Yeah.
He clears the balcony and lands like a superhero and
Yeah.
just stands up in his miniskirt and his balls hanging out.
There was one more this special session, and it was about
Ball buster. Get away, kids.
we were trying to punish the. Got the whip. No, it was there was one more bill, and it was about punishing the Democrats because they basically broke quorum, not showing up. They fled to Illinois to protest a
I
bill.
wanted to ask you about this. I
Yeah.
forgot about it.
Never heard of them doing anything like that ever.
No, isn't that crazy? So the Supreme Court had ruled that we could redraw our maps based on something. I can't remember what it was. So we have a redistricting committee. They redraw the maps. They get it submitted. We bring it to the floor, but we can't vote on it because the Democrats all took off. You have to have at least 100 members show up out of 150. And anyway, so they
We'll be honorary members for you.
yeah.
I'm so glad that you're in the government, but I hate the government so much.
Yeah.
You need a quorum.
Just 100. Just 100 people have to come to work
yeah.
today.
It's called a quorum.
So they
Ridiculous.
took off
Shut up, lawyer
to
man.
they took off to Illinois, which has some of the worst gerrymandering in the country, right?
The one
And
that you
so-
guys were trying to redraw was from Austin down through the heart of San Antonio. It
Yeah.
was like this weird lightning bolt
Oh,
thing.
the
Like,
map is
super
way
stupid.
way less gerrymandered now, and so anyways, I go up to and they take the bait again. Like I go to give a little 30-second speak for the bill, and it's like look, y'all turned this into a race and everything else. This is simply about punishing those who didn't, us reforming our house rules to punish those who don't show up to do the job that the taxpayers paid for you to do, and. Anyways, this very nice guy, Harold Dutton, he's been there like 46 years. There's a good reason for term limits being considered, but anyways,
Sweet old man.
yeah, Harold's nice, and I like Harold, but Harold, asked some questions, and he says, he says, you're saying this about race, and I was like, well, y'all are making it about race. We're not about race. We're about character, and anyways, what does he say? He says. He says something about it, and I was like, look, 5 of the maps that we redrew, or the districts that we drew, are more majority Hispanic that didn't have before. Oh. And anyways, he's like, well, what about the black people? And it threw me off for a minute, but I was like, I answered back, and I was like, well, I'm pretty sure they're still there, and they can still vote. And,
We didn't remove them.
he didn't know how to.
Your maps are disproportionately affecting black people.
Yeah, and that's what I told him. I guess I quoted Martin Luther King, but I was just like, hey, you should be judged by your character, not the color of your skin. And
I
then
hate that shit.
had a bunch of state reps, Democrats, yelling at me and saying this is about race and everything else. And I'm trying to tell them this is not about race. So yeah, it's fun. I enjoy that part of it. So
It's so crazy.
otherwise it's just mind numbing. You're sitting at your desk. I sit in Jasmine Crockett's old desk, which is interesting. If you don't know. So
really?
yeah.
That's
Related
hilarious.
to
Yeah,
Davy Crockett?
No,
Do you know who
crazy.
Jasmine Crockett is?
No.
Oh, God.
She pretends to be ghetto, but she's not.
Dude, she's gold.
I know
girl.
who it is.
So
Oh, we'll show you videos after.
Yeah, you need the
It's-
videos, but you know this woman. This woman.
Yes.
There's no way you haven't seen her on social media. I will give the younger liberal Democrats that much. They understand the power of social media. Like
I'm
they
trying to
understand
play
how
the
get
Forrest
on.
Gump role, and she tries to play the ghetto role.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she went to I don't remember.
Yeah,
remember
some
looking up the
well-off
private high
school,
school she went
yeah,
to. It was
so-
like $50,000 a year, or some
Yeah,
crazy shit.
so-
Like, stop it.
Yeah, it's all theater. But
Yeah.
anyways, that brings us up to here. And today I have a weird life, the people I get to meet and talk to, and so today I had to go. I was with Governor Abbott, and it was 20 people that have been either died in the line of duty or have been injured in the line of duty. They were receiving what is that called? Posthumous,
Posthumous.
yeah. Awards or the ones that were still alive were there, and so I was there before I came here, and then it's a weird world for a diesel mechanic. It's weird to think, that literally yesterday I'm working on trucks, and then today, I'm doing that, and then tomorrow I'll be working on trucks again, and so.
So you still actively do that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think it's good character building,
Yeah.
and keeps you grounded. And then my dad, who's 69, is in better shape than most 50-year-olds, and
Yeah.
so he's done it his whole life, working on the floor at the shop, and so I think it'll be good for me too. I hope. So
You do that up in Brady?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have been there for 30 years now, and grew up in that business, and it's fun because my hands are covered in scars. I can count about 30 scars on each hand, and so when I go to the Capitol, people don't have those kind of hands, and
It's from fighting.
yeah.
These are hands that
Come on, Jerome.
But it's fun just to be like, yep, I'm a working class guy, and showing my hands, and
Yeah.
I enjoy that a lot. so.
it's kind of sad that the others in that room don't have working hands.
Yeah,
You
there's
know
a
what I
few
mean?
in there, but
Because
yeah.
that shows the clear separation of those who are actively pushing forward bills and trying to make decisions for those under them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or who they're supposed to be representing.
Well, Brady's a working town. I mean, I
Yeah.
got a buddy that lives there, and
Yeah.
they've got access to some property up there. We go dove hunting up there. It's awesome, but
I love it.
It's I mean, it's a working town.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're there to do.
I got another troll that I just thought of.
Please.
Okay, so we were in committee and we were dealing with zoning, and a bunch of the city people came to a bunch of the people that work for the city came to take up for this bill, and it was trying to basically say that they could rezone an area, and then after like 6 months or 18 months, whatever it was, that if a business was there that didn't fit into that rezone area, then the business would have to shut down. And so I threw something out there to one of the city managers or something like that, and I was like, hey, let me propose a hypothetical to you. And I said, let's say that I live in Granby, Texas, and I own a muffler shop, and y'all rezone the area I'm in. Are you telling me I got to shut my muffler shop down? And they're like, well, yeah. And the answer was yes. Like, yeah, you're telling me I got to shut my muffler shop down. And I don't know if you're picking up clues yet, but Killdozer, Granby,
yeah.
Colorado.
Yep.
And anyway, so I did all that, and I said, well, if I have to shut my muffler shop down, I'm going to be pretty upset and probably want to get some justification for what's happening. And nobody in the
Just
room
not
like,
put
gets
it
it.
together.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're like, I have a welder
Yep. Well, here's the
and a
fun part.
Komatsu.
There's this one cowboy like in the back of the committee room, and I can see him shaking his head. And after we get done with that bill, I walk out to where everybody kind of gathers at. And that guy was like, were you talking about Marvin Heemeyer? And I was like, yep. And so
Yes, I was.
Yeah, he was like, that's tier level trolling. And nobody else in there got it, but that guy got that I was comparing. And so that leads me to this morning. I met with the Public Utility Commission, and they're trying to run the largest power lines we've ever seen in Texas through my district. And I talk about how long my district is. It's 377 miles. They're trying to run these massive power lines down the entire northern portion of my district and the entire southern portion, so 2 765 kilovolt lines. And anyways, I asked them, I said,
You don't
hey,
hear buzzing from that at all when you're near
no,
it.
not at all. And I asked them, I said, hey, let's say you get one life on this earth, and you work your whole life, and you finally get to buy your piece of land, which is now your peace of mind, right? Like represents your life work that you bought so you can enjoy the rest of your life. And the PUC or whoever wants to come through with eminent domain and destroy that. What are you going to do about it? And they're like, well, there's different ways to do it. And I said, but the law is written against the citizen. Like the government's supposed to be there to protect the citizen's private property rights, but y'all have written the law that allows you to come in and do what you want through the excuse of eminent domain. And I was like, what would you do? And they're like, well, we try to. And I'm like, no, you'd be pissed. Like you're going to want to find a way to fight. And I
Just
said,
answer the question, please. Yeah.
And so I told them, I said, I'm talking to every landowner, and there's thousands of landowners at this property that these lines are coming through. And I said, I'm telling them that if they believe that they own that property, they shouldn't lay down and take it. Like they need to stand up against it. And so it's not real popular, in politics to tell constituents, hey, you need to defend your property from government trying to intrude on it. But that's the reality. It's what our founding fathers wanted us to do. And so, yeah. So
Right.
that's the conversation I had with them this morning, and they probably left thinking that guy is completely nuts. But yeah, I'm okay with that.
That guy, he's like for the Bill of Rights and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the heck is up with that guy? Did he
I
even
get-
go to a private school?
The your hat that I wear all the time.
Yeah.
You got to figure out how to sell these because we get a ton of comments. I get them on my Instagram all the time too about like where can I get this hat? And
Yeah,
I
and
like
I brought
to
the
brag and be
wrong
like, you
vehicle
can't,
today.
you can't get this hat.
It's my hat.
Yeah, it's my hat.
Yeah, I brought the wrong vehicle today. I've got them in the other car. So
Yeah, we need to talk to like Bunker or something and get like the Wes Virdell set up. You would sell the shit.
If you start a YouTube channel and sell them on there, then it's not related to politics.
I have. I started the YouTube channel.
You can start a YouTube channel just to advertise the hats.
Yeah. I've tried filming myself a few times.
Yeah.
I'm not over that awkwardness yet. I guess there's like a barrier you have to get past, and I'm hypercritical of my stuff, and so I'll get it. And Brandon, I showed Brandon one of the videos, and he's like, "Hey, it looks really good. You just need to cut more." Instead of one long take, like you need to have some scenes in there, and so I'm trying to figure that out too. So I'm trying to teach myself how to edit and make it look good too.
It's a long journey. One of the things that I figured out when I was first filming myself is just picking the camera up and moving it over here and then starting again.
Yep.
Yeah.
It can make so much of a difference. Like
Oh yeah.
when you're in the editing room, you're like, oh, that feels so nice.
Yeah.
It feels like a change of pace, and it feels like I am not just like staring at this camera. I can kind of reset and go and begin.
Or having two to where you can like you. It's always nice to have like a reaction camera because you can kind of like lead your joke down the road.
Yeah.
And then you get to like whip your head to the reaction camera and sell your line. Or if you like
Do one of
mumble over something, you can just be like,
Yeah.
and like start over here. And then when you do the edit, you can't, the audience can't tell.
It's I'm learning it's an art form and y'all are pretty good at it. I like what
talking
y'all
to-
do. So yeah.
We're trying our
Talking
best.
to a camera by yourself is the weirdest.
Oh, I keep
the-
thinking some game warden is hiding in the bushes watching me, and to that point, I filed a bill that got there's about 550 game wardens in the state of Texas, and I filed a bill that got about 550 game wardens super pissed at me. And,
Please tell us.
I believe that no
picketing
one,
outside your
yeah.
house.
I believe that no one should be able to come onto your property without your permission, and unless they have a warrant, if we're going to recognize that.
That's
And-
crazy. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Does this guy believe in the Bill of Rights or something?
Yep. And so I filed a bill that says that they have to have said probable cause. We were going to change it to warrant, but basically they had to have landowner permission or a probable cause before they could come onto your property. And that you would have thought like I went nuclear or something. Like it was just.
That's the
yeah.
Fourth Amendment.
Yeah.
I know.
My
How are we
brother-
going to keep people from
No
shooting the
warrants
king's deer?
shall issue except upon probable cause.
My brother got a text message from one of the game wardens. My brother's a cop in another town near here.
Yeah.
And one of the game wardens like, I voted for that motherfucker. It's like, but
You told me to vote for him, you son of a
yeah,
bitch.
I get along well with the game wardens, and they have a job that I think is important. But now it's kind of like a running joke. There was during the Kerrville flooding stuff, we were there, and this is maybe a week or two after all the initial stuff happened.
Yeah.
And one of the game wardens, he was like, "Hey, are you Wes Virdell?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can I take a picture with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so like we took a selfie, and then I go back to the EOC, which is Emergency Operations Center, and anyways, I get over there, and the head of the game warden's like, "Hey, I saw a picture of you." And anyways, I guess they were sharing it as a joke, like, "I found the guy that filed the bill." So, yeah.
Look, I found this mother.
Yeah. No, I
2
like
blinks and I'll
those.
take him out.
I like those guys a lot. Like, I would love to be a game warden.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Honestly, it would be a great job, but I do have like an intrinsic. Obviously police serve an incredibly important role in society, right? Like you can't the defund the police
Yeah,
thing is
it's
totally
crazy.
Looney
Yeah.
Tunes. But at the same time,
No,
like
people are completely sane and can manage
Yeah.
their own lives independently.
it's like at the same time, it's like so I'm not allowed to drive as fast as I want to on the King's Highway. Like I'm not allowed to hunt the King's deer. Like
You gotta
what are
have
we doing?
You gotta have special plates, which I got.
Yeah.
Now
You gotta be a
plates that,
statesman, so.
my plates they state official on it, and I'm told that it's unlikely we get a ticket, and I find myself pushing that a little bit. But
I got
at the
places
same
to
time, at the same time, I want to be a good driver out there.
Right.
Next week's
so-
viral video is Wes
Yeah.
drunk in the driver's seat. Like, you know who I am.
I'm a statesman.
He's being arrested by border patrol guy. Or,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's
Game
actually
wardens?
Game wardens.
there's actually some videos out there of some state reps that have some of those getting pulled over, and
Yeah, it's rough, dude.
pretty crazy. But
The game wardens kidnap you and they force you to drink a bunch of alcohol and then put you in the driver's seat.
Just for clarity, for my sake, they're frustrated with you putting that forward because it's just making like another step and kind of more difficult for their job
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, because
even
they-
though it is respecting personal rights.
Yeah, they'll argue that they have a duty to protect the wildlife in Texas, which I agree with. But I also think that private property rights are Tier 1, and we have Article 1, Section 9 in our Texas Constitution, which is like our Fourth Amendment, but worded a little differently. Because it's been argued in Supreme Court that the Fourth Amendment doesn't protect large pieces of land. It's called the Open Fields Act or Doctrine, Open Field Doctrine. And anyways, but Texas is worded slightly different. And so I've been working with Institute for Justice. They took on Tennessee's game wardens in that process, and they won in the courts. And I think there's a path in the courts in Texas too to do that. But I want to keep a good relationship with the game wardens. I mean, like I said, they do a lot of good stuff, and I don't dislike the game wardens. I just dislike them coming onto property without landowner permission. And most of them build really good relationships with landowners wherever
And
they're
they get
working
that
at.
permission,
And so I don't think it's complicated. Just call the landowner and be like, hey, you mind if I come check on some game? So,
Yeah, it was really cool. I have a story from California when I was still living out there.
Gross.
Yeah, gross, right? I don't want to speak too poorly about California police. They're very pigeonholed in what they can do, but I had a couple interactions with Fish and Game while I was out there. I would go shoot on BLM land a lot of the time when I was initially filming some of my content, and shot a lot, shot very fast.
Yeah.
They would come out and they'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I'd show them all my stuff, and I'm like, "Hey, do you need anything? Do you want anything?" They're like, "No, it's cool." I ended up getting in contact with them because I wanted to know if I could go out and shoot at night and do like night vision shooting and stuff like that out there. And they were super cool to deal with.
Yeah.
They're some of the coolest like law enforcement I think to deal with in California.
Yep.
Because it's like, as long as you're not affecting wildlife, like if you're not hunting, you're not fucking up, not messing with my job, you're good, brother.
Yep.
Yeah, they're super cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I like California. No, I'm saying that on video. I like parts of California.
We're gonna clip just that
yeah,
part.
most.
I like California.
Most of it's very red.
It is.
Yeah.
and
It's
so
incredibly red.
A buddy of mine's a police officer for the state over there, and anyway, super hardcore Republican guy that is frustrated with some of the liberal stuff that the cities dictate through legislation. So.
It's super frustrating. You have these hot spots for basically most of the votes that come out of there, but the rest of the state is generally red because you have like LA County and then you have Orange County, and you have just this swath of blue and then it's just red.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see? I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly how like politics on state level works like that. But like terminology. But there was a state rep in California like a month ago maybe that put forward like I guess it would be legislation. It's not a bill, but they want to split the state.
Yeah,
And
I
it
would
was,
like to see that.
The coastline essentially would go blue, and
Yeah,
then the
I
rest
feel
of the state
like
would be its own thing.
If you look at this goes back to the district redistricting stuff that we're talking about. If you look at the maps, they're about almost 50% Republican as far as population division. But if you look at the number of congressional seats that they have, I want to say it's something like 80+% of the congressional seats are Democrat. Like they're some of the worst gerrymandering in the country, right? But they're and then same with Illinois was the same way. Texas is not too bad, right? And anyways, I mean it's ridiculous, but there's a lot of good people in California that are stuck in a bad government. So
I mean, at
Super
some
true.
point, it's on the people in that state. At some point, like you gotta like take some ownership and be like,
yeah.
I live
It's-
here, you know.
It's weird for me to think. I was showing Nolan my pickup a while ago, like just from not cleaning out my pickup over the last couple of weeks. I had a Daniel Defense rifle in the back of my pickup. I forgot it was back there, and so like my truck's parked in downtown Austin earlier by the Capitol, and I just have that rifle sitting
Just
back
a
there.
white
so
guy with a rifle.
it's still there, but then I showed him I've got like 2 shotguns, 2 Daniel Defenses, a Glock pistol. I've got my CZ SP01.
Heck yeah.
And yeah, it's weird to me to think that there are states where you're not allowed to carry your gun. Like it's
yeah,
Man,
yeah.
there's plenty of them.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. I was when I was taking my first CCW class out there, the guy who ran it, super cool. His name's Ted Leidy. He brought up a painting, and it was called "Going to Church," and it's a painting from the colonial era. And he's like, "What do you notice about this painting?" Nobody really spoke up, and he goes, "Every single man has a rifle,
Yeah.
and he's going to
Yeah.
church." Let that sink in.
It's just like school shootings didn't exist when guys brought their 30-06 in the back of their truck to school.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Like
That
no
was-
one was gonna on when Jimbo might go get a 30-aught.
yeah. I remember
There was also no
We're just
Twitter,
gonna keep
but-
it to fist fights, boys.
there's a well-known hunter on TV who talks about how with his gym coach he did like a trade he did some work for the gym coach or whatever, and the gym coach gave him a revolver or something like
Yeah.
that in a gym sock. Like that's how he brought it to school and gave it to at the time when this guy was in high school, And so, anyways,
Pack of cigarettes and a pistol.
I mean, we
You're a
had
man
them,
now.
growing up in rural Brady, like kids had them all the time in
Yeah.
their pickups, like no big deal. So we didn't.
Yeah.
My kid, I've had the cops twice get called, or I got called by the cops.
Do you know who my dad is?
He's a statesman.
Yeah. My kid, varmint hunts a lot, and even at like 16, 17, would have like a 22, like a 10-22 Ruger.
Sure.
And one day he hit he was in Walmart, and I had them pull up the video so I could see it, but I guess he was looking left or something at a car and turned right and hit one of those poles with the big yellow things on
Heck
it.
yeah.
But it's Brady, right? So everybody knows it happened. And what made it worse, when he hit it, it bends the pole over and the pickup goes up, but now the control arm.
Oh, he like hit it.
Yeah, and the control arm gets like hung, so now he's stuck up there, right? So the pickup's like up in the air, and anyway,
That's so embarrassing.
the cops actually, one of the guys that worked with us at our shop called me, and he was like, "Hey, the cops are here. They've got Van's gun. They're saying that it's illegal, that he's not supposed to carry it." And I go there, and the officer hands me the gun. And he was like, "Hey, he's not supposed to have this," which is not correct. He was allowed to have a rifle. And anyways, I was like, "Oh, did you clear?" He's going to hand it to me. I was like, "Did you clear it?" And he's like, "Oh," and he goes to clear it, and there's a round in the chamber, and and I was thinking like, I don't know, maybe my kid wasn't the problem, but that was one of them. And then another one. In Texas, you can't have a pistol open. You can have it open sight, but it has to be in a holster. It can't just be like laying on a console. Or,
Oh, really?
and and so
That's a weird.
yeah, my kid was at our shop one night, and there was a travel trailer behind our shop, and so my kid and his buddy were hanging out there, but they had parked over by the truck stop. Well, the cop saw a pistol in the passenger seat without a holster, and so they called me and said, "Hey, we think somebody may be at your shop." And I was like, "Let me call my kid." And it was turned out it was my kid there, but his friend had left a revolver or something, just laying out on the seat. But cop let it go, so that was nice. I appreciate that. So
Just
yeah.
being country kids. I remember
Yeah.
getting pulled over when I was 16 once, and I had, I don't know, 10 rifles and a bunch of handguns. Like,
Yeah.
we were going shooting, so I had just gone and gotten everything from my dad's house. And we
Yep.
were like, I was driving out to my buddies, and I was speeding and got pulled over.
Yeah.
And like the cop, everything's loaded, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and the cop just walked up to the window, looked in the back of my Jeep, like, because it was like a tiny little, like, 2-door Jeep, you know what I
Yep.
mean? It was just full of guns in the
Yeah.
back. We had a super
Sounds
nice
like a good
conversation. He
time.
told me to slow down and sent me on my way. And
My best friend had a SKS when we were, I think, even as young as like 12 or 11 years old, and his brother had gotten it for him. And we lived out in the country, and I remember like walking up and down the farm market roads with in the dirt roads.
Yeah.
My buddy's carrying the SKS, and it's like,
Yep.
no big deal. So yeah, and here we are. Oh, and that goes. Y'all got time for Charlie Kirk? We can talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
That's hard to watch the video.
Yes.
It sucks to see that video's on there. Knowing his wife and kids are going to see that, but it's the reality of modern technology.
Yeah.
I met Charlie 2 years ago, not far from here in Kerrville, and I really like the guy, and he's been a super big inspiration for a lot of people. And that was hard to watch. I was at our shop working, and it popped up on the news that Charlie had been shot, and I was like, oh crap. No, and now I think the good news, not good, but Charlie probably had no idea that he got hit. Like I
No,
think,
right.
I think it was instant.
yeah,
Yeah.
but if you think
Instantly
about
shock and just went down.
yeah, if you think about the blood pressure spike that probably shot up to his brain, like
Yeah.
and he I don't want to get too much into that, but yeah, it was pretty instant for him. So,
I think
He
that's
was dead before he hit the floor, which is
Yeah.
like the only I don't know,
Yeah.
redeeming part out of that is he didn't know what happened.
I think that brings up a really good topic, and it's kind of something that's been floating around my brain for the past 24 hours. And with you in politics, I think it's a really good thing for kind of your opinion on, Charlie was someone who wanted open decorum, and how is it being in a position in politics with what seemingly, because I don't want to paint every Democrat as unwilling to communicate.
yeah,
But it seems like what we're seeing is an entire swath of a political party that just cannot or refuses to communicate or find common ground.
well, they have a violent history. We know as Democrats that they were the founders of the Ku Klux Klan and the Jim Crow laws and everything else.
Wait, you know your history?
Little bit,
That's
just a little bit.
crazy.
Oh my
the
goodness.
Southern
Yeah.
Democrats were the party of slavery?
That's shocking. And anyways, now they've in some ways they've ideologically now they're fighting for people to pretend to be a different gender than they are and abortion and stuff like that. But still the same sentiment is underlying into the tone, and I try to be very respectful to all the Democrats I have to work with on the House floor, and we can we try to find common ground where we can and work together. After the last couple times I've been at the mic, they're a little unhappy with me right now, but
Balls.
yeah, and that's what's crazy is in my hallway where my office is at the Capitol, we have a couple of legislators, Democrats, that have transgender staffers and stuff like that. It's a weird, yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't want my constituents coming into my office, and seeing a transgender person be like, hey, what can I help you with? But I'm not trying to attack the transgender. I'm just saying, But it's a weird deal, and I think that the underlying tone is still when they don't get their way, violence is the measure, and it's disappointing. And then here's the other interesting. You'll see, I passed a bill that was to ban gun buybacks in the state of Texas, and it was a fun bill to come up with and to get passed. State funded, yeah. You can't use taxpayer money to do it.
You can't steal from the citizens to steal from the citizens.
Yeah.
What?
But
We've been doing that for years.
Not in Texas.
in my speech, if I remember correctly, when I was talking about it, I said there are members here. I think it was that bill. It might have been a different gun bill, but I was like, there are members here, from a different party than mine, who are actively carrying right now, and going to the mic and pretending like they're against the guns. And the reality is that a lot of the Democrats are very pro-gun. They may not be pro-2A, but they're pro-gun.
No, they're pro-gun for them.
Yeah.
And there are several of them that carry regularly, and I've some of them that have asked me like, hey, can you teach us how to? Some of them that don't, and I was like, yeah, I have no problem teaching you how to shoot. If you ever want to transform a person on not fearing the guns, you just take them shooting, and then they understand it a lot better. And so I'm always open to helping them, but with the Charlie stuff, I think it drew a line in the sand where it's like, hey, we're not here to entertain your nutty ideology anymore. Like, taking Charlie out's one of the worst things you could have done.
Right. It's set this like we have to find the objective truth in reality again because people are just trying to throw it away.
Yeah, it's a whole. I feel like it's like a generation of people that were allowed to throw temper tantrums into adulthood.
Yeah.
And that it just leads you down a road of like mental health issues and violence.
Yeah.
When the only response that you have to like someone disagreeing with you or you not getting your way or life just being the way that life works is that you throw a temper tantrum. The obvious next step with that is violence, and it's someone disagrees with your point of view and you shove your fingers in your ears and scream at them. Like it's all the Charlie Kirk videos where someone comes up and yells something at him and he's like, well, can you give me an example where I was a racist or I said something hateful? Yeah, and they just cuss them out and walk away.
Yeah.
Like,
So that's generally how I respond as well.
It's there's a natural progression through society. Oswald Spengler, I think it was called The Fall of Western Civilization or something like that. That's what he wrote. And anyways, he talks about when you initially create a new, we'll call it country, right, or society, like it's a cultural society that's based on values.
Sure.
And then over time, as it becomes more civilized, it loses its culture. And I think we're in that transition where you're seeing people have forgotten moral values and culture, and they're shifting into what we'll call civilized or whatever, but it's not civilized. And people are, they've had so many amenities and luxuries now that they don't know a world without that, so they don't know how to appreciate the reality of the luxuries that we have.
they're just disconnected from the reality of being
definitely
human.
true.
Yeah.
Like what is it like if you're born upper middle class in New York? You have a driver that takes you to high school every day. You go to a nice college. Like all your needs are met right there. It's how you end up being like, well, I'm a vegan. I only eat plants. Like what?
Yeah. For the most part, your poorest people in this country are the richest people in the history of Earth.
Yeah.
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 So,
We were talking about that
Yeah.
yesterday or the day before that. We were talking about how like
really good quote.
we were in the truck doing a pickup and we were like laughing about how like it's the only country in the world where the poorest of us are like the fattest and most
Yeah.
unhealthy. Like,
yeah, most people still have air conditioning. At least in Texas. I don't know
Right.
about up north, but and cell phones and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like Kings didn't have any of that stuff back then. They didn't have the ability to get in a vehicle and in 1 hour be 60 miles away from their
You
location.
had a
So,
couch.
yeah. So
It's the homeless guy on the side of the road that's playing YouTube music on his cell phone
Yeah.
asking for money.
He's got a JBL speaker. You're
Yeah,
like,
he's
what?
got a
He's got
YouTube
YouTube
speaker.
Premium.
Yeah.
I did
State
have
funded YouTube Premium.
There's a lot of homeless people in San Antonio and Austin. When we were in San Antonio, you saw several of them, on spaced out on drugs and everything. But sorry for the cough and the
Yeah, how dare you?
yeah. So in Austin, there was this one guy. I see him all the time. And tell this story. Like we were eating at a steakhouse, and anyways, I was walking to the steakhouse, and he was like, "Hey man, you got any change?" And I was like, "No man, I don't have any change on me." And then he starts screaming like, "F you, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "All right, whatever, buddy." I go inside to the steak restaurant. I'm eating food,
And
I
it turns
see-
out he's the owner of the restaurant.
yeah.
It's a
No,
Lifetime movie.
I see my buddy because it's downtown. You see people all the time, and I see my buddy standing at the corner, and this homeless guy is harassing him now, And it kind of makes me mad, and I feel bad, and so I don't eat all my steak, and I take out a portion of it to him, and I was like, hey, man, here you go. And he's like, oh, thanks, man. We're all in this together. So, like, super nice, right? I walk off, and I get about half a block or block down, and I'm with 2 other guys, and he walks past me, cussing me out, and I was like, hey, dude, I just gave you a steak. And he was like, I threw it on the ground. And I'm like, that's
Throw
weird.
it on the ground.
That's not my dad. That's a cell phone.
But so today, I was on 8th Street in Congress. I had to go to a meeting.
Yeah.
And anyways, they had extra burritos, or it's Veracruz tacos, extra tacos. And so they had an extra one. I was take it. Well, anyways, I'm walking back up towards the Capitol, and I see that same guy again sitting on the street. And I'm like,
So you threw a burrito at him.
yeah, no.
You looked him right in the eyes and spiked that taco.
I had
It's
full
like,
intention of finding a homeless guy, and be like,
Yeah.
hey man, here you go, and I see him, and like he's not looking at me, and I put it in my back pocket and walk past him, and then pull it back out, waiting for the next homeless guy. So like no, that dude threw a good steak on the ground, like a
nice steak.
yeah, that's you're living in luxury when your homeless people are throwing steaks on the
Right.
ground. So
I feel like the homeless people have changed over the years. I feel like when I was a young boy, just growing up, that was like one of the things that made my brother my hero.
Yeah.
He would always go and buy like sandwiches for homeless
Yeah.
people, and they were appreciative.
yeah.
Now it's like, where's the soda?
Yeah.
It's like, wait a second. Wait a second here, sir.
I did that with my kid once when she was little, because I grew up the same way. Like you see someone in need, like you help them, and it's not about like what you have. Like you always have more than you need,
Yeah.
you know. Like, and
Yeah.
I did it with my kid once, and it was like the same thing. Like I gave the guy $5, and it like wasn't enough money or whatever. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
It's
no,
insane.
never doing this again. Like,
Yep.
This is
Yeah,
a
brown
terrible
people.
lesson for her to learn. Like,
Yeah, no, it's super frustrating. But no, that's I think I covered all the politics in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And then past that, I'm just obsessed with guns, and every dollar I have goes towards building the next gun. So yeah.
Well, I want to hear a bit about that. I mean, so you and Brady, diesel mechanic, and then you said you just woke up one day and decided that you wanted to be a good shooter.
Yeah,
so
I had
shooting or what?
I'll tell you the story. I had a preacher try to woo my wife, and he didn't succeed. But
oh yeah.
but anyways, it
But
flipped
you were
a
like,
switch.
I got to get good at this.
It flipped a switch inside of me that said no man will ever think he can, try to win my wife over or anything like that. And,
Preacher too. Wow.
yeah, and
Class.
so
That's
yeah.
a country song, man. There's a preacher
Oh,
dead in
it's,
Texas.
Preacher dead.
Yeah.
in Texas.
And
That's
so-
a country song.
But there is a switch that flipped inside of me, and it's never shut off, and I just can't stop thinking about, what's the best cartridge. I got into competitive shooting because of it. And now I have this thing.
We come to Wes's house. There's like a stuffed preacher mannequin in the corner. It's got like knives stuffed. on
We
top
go
of
to
it.
a gun
one-
range. It's
yeah.
just a bunch of preachers.
Every 100 yards out to 2,300,
Yeah.
he's got a different one.
Yeah, different denominations of preacher.
Just in case you never know.
Oh, did you hit the Presbyterian at 700? That's a good shot.
Yeah, so it was.
See the priest at 4.
Yeah, but the priest is a difficult shot because you got to miss the little boy that he's holding on to.
I always liked Mike Jones' Grand Thumbs. Ron Jeremy with the.
Oh, yeah,
Coke
yeah,
in.
yeah.
I always thought that was neat. Now I've now narrowed it down to, because people think I have a lot of guns. I don't have a lot of guns. I just want the perfect guns and the guns that like I just really enjoy. And so I'll buy guns.
Cool, you can give me the ones that you don't
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
It's not a buyback. It's
Yeah,
generosity.
I'll buy guns, just shoot them, not like them, or get. But I have 6 categories that I try to work on rifles, which is your initial is like a 22 LR. So that would be one. So I want the perfect 22 LR rifle that I can do. Then you step up to like either in the next category 2 would be 5.56, 300 blackout, 7.62 by 39. You could probably put the 6 arc and all that in there too.
sure.
And so it's like, okay, that's my next category. And I've kind of settled on 5.56 out of that. Next category gets into 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, 7mm 243. So you just figure, okay, I'm going to pick one round. I'm going to build the perfect rifle around that, and I'm going to learn to accept that rifle. And so I've almost got them all dialed in. So the next one up from that is getting into 7 PRC, 7 Rim Mag, 300 Win Mag, 300 PRC, and in that
long
category,
action stuff, yeah.
And so then I've got that one. I feel like I'm leaving one of them out, and then I've got my straight wall, or what I call big bore, because I also count the 458 SOCOM in there, and which is shouldered.
10-round magazine.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so I just built a 450 Bushmaster. The rifle was way too much for a gun that only shoots 100 yards.
Yeah.
But and now What's cool is Gunworks is building a 450 Bushmaster now that they're stretching out past 600 yards.
Really?
So they're using.
It's a lot of energy.
Yeah, I think it's.
That's a school bus,
Yeah,
dude.
I think it's 325 grain custom high BC bullet. And I mean, it's dropping at 500 yards. It's still dropping like 300 inches or something like that. But, because the 7 PRC.
You're
at
aiming it
1,000
like this, man.
Yeah. A 7 PRC at 1,000. Mine on a 22-inch barrel is dropping 232 inches for the most part. And anyways, you think this, is dropping 300 inches at 500 yards. But I think it's cool because it's kind of like the people that got into the 22 long range stuff. Is that you're just okay? I don't have to shoot as far, but I get to work on wind and everything else. So yeah.
Are you big into long range shooting?
I used to be. It gets boring when you build a really good gun.
And then it starts getting easier
Yeah,
and easier.
and it just becomes like, okay, I know what it can do. And now, if you get into PRS shooting, like that's a different world where you're introducing some dynamics that make it more challenging.
That's what my buddy Ron
Yeah.
is really into. He's
I like
shooting
it.
out to a mile, and
Yeah.
what's crazy is I went out to, is it Colorado? I think it's Colorado where NAGR is.
Yeah, yep, that's
And
right.
we did some PRS shooting out there. I shot at 1,000 meters for my first time.
Yeah,
And it's crazy because you'll shoot, it's flying. It'll take 4 or 5 seconds to get out there. You can see the wind shift before the bullets hit, and you know it's off.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It takes. I used to have the math down. I can do the math still, but from the time you hit the speed for the speed of sound to come back to you from 1,000. I'm a yardage guy instead of meters, but it's about 4.5 seconds for that sound to get all the way
You
back
pull
to
the
you.
trigger, it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the footage of the Canadian sniper team? It's like two shooter team with a single spotter. Like each shooter has a spotter, and then there's a team spotter. But they have the
think I've
longest
seen that
shot from Syria.
2.5 miles.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 miles.
It's pretty amazing.
Both guns go off. Both guns get rechambered, and then all 4 guys on the ground just roll over and look at the senior spotter. And it's like 30 seconds goes by before the guy's like, "Good hit."
Yeah, that's
That's
awesome.
wild.
Yeah, I've shot to a mile before. For not far from here, up near Burnett, there's a 1 mile range up there that's really nice, and
Oh, really?
yeah, it's a cool place. So
That's super cool.
Yeah.
You said it's a 1 mile range?
It's I always get it. My dyslexia kicks in. It's either Austin Rifle Club or Austin Gun Club between Burnett and Lampasas.
Okay.
And it's been a couple of years since I've been out there, but they had a really
Yeah, I wanna go.
They had steel plates all the way out to a mile, which is really cool. And it was almost like these little veins of different targets, different steel plates all the way out to a mile.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome. Yeah, I want to go.
really
It's
cool.
places like that are super hard. Well, I'm from Virginia, where it's just
Yeah,
it's
it's
real
hard. That's real
mountainous.
hard,
There's-
so, yeah.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. But
Have you been getting big into handguns? Are you a big handgun guy?
I'm not.
I'm a pistolero at heart.
Yeah.
Good
I
old
suck.
Vaquero.
This man carries a 38 special nickel.
It's a
plated-
357
I'm
Magnum.
sorry,
thank
it's a
you very much.
357, but that's his like EDC. Is
Don't
like
take
5
inches
shots.
off my queen,
Yeah.
please.
No, it's I'm not a great pistol guy, and so that's kind of frustrating. Like where rifle's real natural to me, shotgun I suck at, pistol. If I work really hard, I can be an average competitive shooter. And anyway, so that we do the 2-gun run and gun stuff, biathlons, and anyways, pistol I always suck at, and I'm trying to always find like a match that's like rifle only. And so these groups are really great, but I want like just a rifle match where I'm running with either a long range rifle or I'm doing just my AR and
Carbine stuff.
yeah, and we do out to 600 yards on the matches with the AR as part of the 2-gun setup. So
That's
yeah.
a decent distance.
Yeah, what's the distance you guys run during those?
You can do what they call them 5K or 10K, but it's usually 3.5 to 7 miles is what it comes out to.
pretty cool.
So yeah, and we try to get in the hilly terrain like Bandera area. We in a 7-mile distance, our elevation gain overall is like 2,000 feet, and
not
so
bad.
yeah, it's pretty good. You got to carry water, ammunition, pistol, rifle, and anything else you think you might need on that. So
That
yeah,
actually sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. I like it. It's Old 18 Defense is the main one that I participate in, and it's
And you said that was 7 miles with all
yeah
your
7
gear.
miles. Yeah, it comes out to 25 to 30 pounds depending on what you're carrying.
Yeah.
So
That's a good man versus adventure.
yeah,
Man
it'd be fun.
versus 7-mile shooting
Yeah.
competition.
yeah.
So, okay, so you get into rifles and that sort of thing, and then you decide, you know what sounds great? Texas representative.
Yeah, no, it
where
didn't
did-
start that way. It was I looked at open carry. Like, why can't I open carry my pistol in Texas? It wasn't allowed. And anyways,
really?
yeah, we could open carry a rifle, no problem. We couldn't open carry. We were one of only 6 states in the country that didn't have open carry.
Yeah,
If I,
That was 2011, and
Okay, and then they did LTC.
yeah, we had LTC was in '95, which was so Susanna Hupp. Her parents were killed at the Luby shooting in '93, I think it was, over near Fort Hood, McLean
Okay,
area.
okay.
And anyway, she ended up running for state rep and helped get that bill passed, the first license to carry bill we ever passed. And then
You could open carry with that, couldn't you?
no, mm-mm.
Really?
No,
Okay.
and so 2015, through a lot of activists, not just me, like it's a lot of people doing a lot of work. And anyways, we got that passed where you could then open carry, but you had to be licensed to open carry.
Yeah.
And then we started pushing for constitutional carry. That got passed in 2021. Wasn't a perfect bill, but it was a huge step. And there was a lot of resistance from Republicans through that process, which was frustrating. But we finally got it
Interesting.
done. Yeah. And here we are now. Now we're kind of splitting hairs, trying to figure out, okay, what can we do to make our laws a little better, because we've made so many.
Yeah,
advances
you
in
got the
Texas.
3006, the 3007, the it's, and then it applies if you can carry in more places if you have an LTC.
Yep.
Less places if it's constitutional carry, but nobody really checks anyway.
you know what's fascinating?
Yeah, I got to Texas and was like,
What's
don't
fascinating is you can carry anywhere if you just don't tell someone.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
It is fun to get to have been a part of this process of all the changes we made on that. And I can't take credit for a lot of it. Like, it's a lot of people doing some pretty amazing work getting it done. So,
What was kind of like the biggest pushback that you're seeing from the Republican side on the constitutional carry stuff?
fear, fear of
Dangerous freedom?
yeah, exactly. And there's people that love the idea of freedom, right? But then when you start actually presenting opportunities for freedom in front of them, it makes them uncomfortable. And
They start thinking about their private school days and they go, wait a minute.
Well, it's just
Yeah.
like, this is the way things are, and humans don't like change.
Yeah,
We're like
and,
ingrained naturally to not like change. Like,
Yeah, they're NRA's in a weird place right now, but NRA for a while was like against helping with the constitutional carry push. They did come on board in 21, which I'm grateful for. They helped that, but there was definitely some resistance from some of those gun groups because it's the old Elmer Fudd type of personality sometimes. So yeah, but. Yeah, we'll see where NRA ends up because they're going through a massive transition right now.
Yeah.
I
So
personally.
they won't be allowed in bathrooms anymore.
Yeah, they won't be allowed in GOA
Yeah,
bathrooms.
because they're transitioning.
Dude, the NRA is really good at like seeing, just like letting other groups kind of start pushing the ball down the road, and then if it looks like it's going to go well and it looks like it's going to be a win, then they jump on and like stick
Yeah,
their name
there
on the
are-
side of the car as it goes by.
There are organizations that do that, and it's frustrating. I'm hoping the new leadership there will
Yeah.
get more on board. Like, you really, as an enlisted guy, like I didn't want to acknowledge that leadership plays a massive role, in things. And as you get older, you see, and if you get wrong leadership in there, like, it just makes it terrible for everybody.
Well, they
under
just got
that,
into
so.
the quagmire of DC over
Yeah.
100 years,
Yeah.
and just.
And once you have this is reality too. Once you have influence with legislators, you don't spend as much time with the people, and because you like, okay, I've got the ear of the legislators, but those groups need to be the ear of the people and with legislators, and that's the other problem too, is we saw organizations that you had bad legislators that were not strong on 2A freedoms or other freedoms, and they just kind of turned a blind eye to it, which is super frustrating. Not naming any organizations, but yeah, it's
So how do you balance that dichotomy, if you will, of keeping your ear with your constituents versus, in the capital?
I remember who I'm there to serve.
Yeah.
And I'm not there to serve that.
You
I
stay
called.
working as a diesel mechanic.
Yeah.
You started this thing by saying I still work on trucks. It
Yeah.
keeps me grounded. How
I
many
was
politicians?
one of the highest up guys in the house.
Brandon still makes YouTube videos.
Just to stay grounded. He still goes to brunch just to stay grounded.
I went to.
I'm one of the people.
One of the things you got to do is you see freshmen that get there and they automatically suck up to leadership so that they can be effective or whatever, and it's disappointing. And then you have people who go there and buck the system, and then you have me, which I'm not the pawn that goes to suck up, but I'm also not there just to make enemies out of everybody, right? Like I want to be effective and pass good legislation. And so, but there was a pretty powerful state rep who was in charge of a committee that wasn't hearing some bills that I thought were pretty critical. And I went up to him and I started off and I was just like, hey, I know you're hearing some bills kind of related to this. I'm hoping you're going to hear my bill. And he says, he's like, well, didn't you vote against one of my bills on the floor last week? And I was like, I did. It was a bad bill. And anyways, he's like, well, how do you expect me to help you out if you're going to vote against my bills? And I was like, that sounds like retribution. And he's like, it's not retribution. And then I completely
definition.
Well, I completely shifted the.
No, it's not bribery because I'm looking you in the eyes.
Yeah. Well, then I said to him, well, I'm telling you, that's a cocksucker move. And I said it right to his face. And you see like everybody's body language. We're on the House floor, like body language changes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, didn't you vote against my amendment on the floor last week? And he says, he was like, well, I voted with the author. And I was like, well, is it a double standard? How does this work here?
Yeah.
And so we had kind of a back and forth. I called him a cocksucker again.
Like you do.
But yeah, and
That's
it
what
was,
it does.
but the reality is I wanted them to know I'm not there to suck up to them.
Right.
I'll work with them on things we agree with, but I'm not there to just, be a pawn for them. And that's the tone I tried to set as a freshman. And I think it went well. I got some good bills passed. I think I was pretty effective in some ways. And they also know I'm not there to kiss their ass. So,
Good.
Yeah, it's a weird world full of a lot of entitled people that have had someone powder their ass most of their life. You standing flat-footed and being like, well, you're a cocksucker. They're like,
What?
their
funny.
aides are like,
My buddy.
I want to work with him.
I was
shift sides and get behind Wes.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah,
I don't know, he seems scary and he's got a gun.
you are a cocksucker.
There were a few of my friends who are legislators that were on the floor, and they could see that I was being pretty aggressive. And one of them walks up. His name's Brent Money. He walks up and stands next to me, and I call the guy a cocksucker for the second time. And Brent's reaction, because I guess he didn't know it was coming, he just hear him. He's like, "Whoa!" like real loud. And,
Whoa!
and then the other buddy of mine, who was probably like maybe 20 yards from us, like he saw it and he was starting to walk over when me and the guy finally shook hands and parted ways. But yeah, it was, I don't know.
Did you get any seconds on that motion?
Second.
But
I'd be such a smart ass. I
I'm
second
good.
that.
I want
Jerry.
I want the
Cocksucker?
reputation that people know that, like, hey, he's going to call you a cocksucker
Right.
if you're being a cocksucker to him.
It's
So,
good.
so,
You sh-
yeah.
you should
This is an
be.
adult world. It's the
Yeah.
thing that we were laughing about when you texted me that video about the balls thing. Is
Yeah.
It's like, this is an organization of people that have the ability to decide whether or not we have the death penalty. The
Yeah.
state can put you to death.
Yeah.
But we can't talk about, like, we can't use the words for
Yeah.
genitalia. Like, what this is adult time for
crazy.
adult conversations. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a weird world, but, I'm going to get along with these guys some days, and we're going to be enemies on other days, and
men.
hopefully, yeah. So,
Yeah.
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 Do you know how many days I regularly hate this individual?
It really is like a marriage. Like,
is.
y'all are married, by the way.
Oh, I know.
100%.
We drafted our LLC documents and everything in California before
Yeah.
we went to SHOT Show last year, and
Yeah.
life was scary. Like, we were both out of money. We didn't know what we were gonna do. His wife
They
Carly's
said their
pregnant.
vows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I go over to his house and
The amendments of the LLC.
Yeah.
They put their vows.
before we signed the paperwork, we went on the back porch together and we are like, so this is us getting married. Like, are we sure we're doing this? Like, we might as well be married the second
Yeah.
we do this.
We were on the stream and somebody called it being a brusband. We're brusbands. We're bro husbands.
Yeah.
It is what it is, man.
That's the simplest way I can tell you how the legislature works. Is it's like a marriage. It's a prearranged marriage. You don't get to pick who you're married to, but you don't get everything you want. They don't get everything they want. You try to work together, but it's also like going to work for somewhere. You can't just show up to work and then trash everybody you work with and expect to be
Yeah.
able to be effective in it.
Remind me
So,
of that tomorrow.
All I heard was that Wes calls his wife a cocksucker.
Yeah.
You gotta meet Wes's wife, dude. She's
lovely.
She's
Absolutely
lovely.
lovely.
She's like so soft spoken and like she's dainty and like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she's perfect. But
Yeah.
you can tell that like at home
Careful.
she'll just be like,
I'll put
"Look,
you on the
motherfucker."
range.
You can just tell she doesn't take any shit. Like it.
Straight.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Well, I think it's about time we wrap up the main show. But Wes, I want to finish out the main show with a question for you. Seeing as the horrific event of Charlie Kirk happened yesterday, what is something that you would suggest for people on how we can kind of move forward in the political sphere and in the society sphere by kind of like while still honoring what he was doing?
Yeah, I think the best way to honor Charlie is to pick up his torch and carry it forward and do exactly what he was doing, which is engage in civil, but truthful discussions.
Yeah.
And, the other side doesn't. I posted this on Twitter yesterday. It's evil people hate the truth and good people seek the truth. And so there are going to be people that are going to hate that we're, Charlie, this is, like I said, I met him 2 years ago. The effect that Charlie had on thousands of people,
The youth, too.
I'm just one guy that he met out of thousands and thousands of people, and the number of people that he inspired. I think his name's going to be remembered for a long, long time, and people are going to carry his torch for a long time. Like he now became. We talk about in the special forces guys and all that, like force multipliers.
Yeah.
Charlie, what he just created was a force multiplier.
Man, that's a super good analogy.
Yeah.
I hope that there's like 1,000 kids that kind of pop up like him that
Yeah.
they're like, all right, so now there's 1,000 Charlies that are going to college campuses.
I have a lot of hope for the next generation coming up.
I do too.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I do too. Your kids are, mine's 14 now, but I'm looking at her generation. It's kind of the same generation as your kids, and like they seem pretty over it.
Yeah.
Like they had to go through COVID and they watched all this dumb shit, and they've had so much horse shoved down their throat. They seem like, as a generation, they're just like, no. They're either completely broken and they think they're cats, or they're over it.
Yeah.
I did make Greg Abbott laugh with that joke. We were at the mansion, and that's another guy. There's some things he does I don't like, and there's some things that we get along with.
We
and
can
he does
disagree
well,
with
and-
people.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
but we were at the mansion one day, and a bunch of Republicans were over there, and he was talking to us, and he I think he knew it was me, but he was like, "Who represents Castroville?" And I raised my hand up, and he's like, "Wes, is it true that y'all have furries at the school there?" And I was like, "It's like, yes, sir. That's my kids." And
And I would appreciate it if you didn't talk about them like that.
I was worried that joke was not going to go over well, and it nailed it perfectly. But
He chuckled. You kicked his wheelchair. You guys had a great
The
day.
thing I disagree with Abbott about is that he fakes his,
Oh my god!
Paralyzation.
Yeah, did you see that recently? It was this video that went viral where he's like sitting on a Blackhawk and he like moved his leg a little, and people lost their mind.
I think he has some mobility. I don't know much about his injury, but
The lack of nuance.
Yeah,
Did you see that? He's a liar.
yeah,
it was wild, man. I
wild,
couldn't believe that went
It's
viral.
it's a weird dynamic because during COVID the business shutdowns, I was pretty angry that a governor would do that, and then I still got to work with.
But
a lot
y'all
of
and
other
Brady
stuff,
didn't
so-
really.
Oh, we gave
didn't really.
we gave the government the big
The
middle
rules
finger.
weren't really going on up there.
We told like customers would come in and like none of us are wearing masks, and they would be like, "You don't have to wear a mask." I'm like, "No."
It's America.
Yeah, and you
Welcome
see
to
'em-
Texas.
Yeah, they're like all like they're like almost with fear, like taking the mask off their face, and
Somebody is Ashton Kutcher
Yeah.
gonna pop out?
yeah, I did wear a mask 3 times total. I hate to admit that, but 3 times I put a mask on.
Get out.
Yeah. one was going to Columbus. I bought a Peterbilt in Columbus that I drove back to Brady, and it was right after the Snowmageddon.
Yeah.
Everything froze over,
Oh, yeah.
and I had to wait till
They got exactly 1 inch of snow.
Yeah. And anyways, like I put my mask on in the airport, and then I just kept it down and ate my peanuts real slow, And then when I landed in Columbus, I took it off like as we were walking, off the plane. Literally, as I stepped off the plane, I took it off, and I walked through the whole airport past TSA and all those guys without my mask on, and everybody looked at me like I was insane. And I was just thinking, like, what are they gonna do? Tell me to leave? Like I was, I
I'm
was on
leaving.
my way out. So yeah, and then I had to go to the hospital. I had sliced off a good chunk of my finger, and they made me put a mask on to go get it taken care of. So yeah, but
Just little side tangent on that. I would go into stores in California, and every second it was, "Can you put on your mask, sir?"
I would literally the whole time I would
Thank
go.
you. I wasn't telling the story.
yeah,
No, continue. Go for it.
No, every time that happened to me during COVID, I would go, yeah, and I just like keep walking, You know? I don't even have one, dude.
Sure.
Me and my kids, we went into, I think it was Target down by Mopac in Austin one day. I think that's where, there was another place I might have been. But anyways, walk in, and these two ladies were like, you got to put your mask on. I was like, nope. And I just kept walking, and they started to follow me, and so I just zigzagged as fast as I could with my kids trying to keep up with me. Yeah, I was zigzagging through like the clothing stuff and the aisles and all that.
He's hiding in the shirt ring.
Yeah,
like a kid.
yeah, and so which goes to I know you haven't got to finish your
No,
story
it's
yet.
good. It's gone now.
So no, to your original question, we should carry Charlie's torch and continue telling the truth. Truth is the most powerful weapon we have. So.
Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
people see that, and people who are in any way in the middle that don't know what they want to do and what's right for them will see that, and they will, and that's what we want.
Yeah.
It's not just a party power thing. It's a truth thing.
Right.
It's reasonable, truthful, and then otherwise get out of our way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Historically, the martyrs and the heroes throughout our history books have been the people that were telling the truth and standing up to evil. So,
Yeah.
I'm just
Absolutely.
gonna keep doing that.
Yeah, it's wild to watch like the party that supposedly is the party for like acceptance and
Intolerance.
intolerance, and like
Most
they have all
racist
these
group of people I've
buzzwords.
ever
Yeah, and they're like the most racist, most bigoted, and most violent group, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
what are you guys doing?
To clarify, that doesn't mean that we want to hurt you.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. That's the thing that makes me nervous with that poor Ukrainian girl that got stabbed on I guess she got her throat slashed on the bus, and then
Yeah.
follow on the heels with the Charlie Kirk thing. It's like, how many people are being radicalized by this stuff?
I think people are tired of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are copycats and everything else that we have to deal with. You know, being in the role I was in with GOA as a state director, I got brought in when the Uvalde stuff happened. Had to deal with that. I watched different groups manipulate those families to no end, and it's pretty disappointing to watch. But yeah, and anyways, I had I know we're trying to wrap up here, and I keep going.
No, you're good.
We had, it was, I'm trying to think of the PBS, right? PBS? I think it was PBS. And I think the reporter was Maria Hinojosa. I was doing a bunch of interviews at the Capitol. This is 2 years ago. Anyways, we're dealing with some gun legislation. And anyways, I was doing a bunch of like little 5 and 10 minute interviews with local news stations, and this lady comes up and is like, can we do an interview with you? I'm like, yeah, no problem. She's like, okay, can we set up over here? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And they bring out $1 million worth of, I'm assuming $1 million worth of camera equipment and multi-person crew and everything.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay. And then this lady interviewed me for an hour, and you got to make every sentence stand by itself because they can take it out of context
right.
and put it in there.
Yeah.
And halfway through,
Nerve wracking.
yeah, they were from New York. The reporter was from New York, and the team, and like I'm just telling them like what to me is common sense, or common sense where I'm from, and you see the not the journalists, but the crew, the film crew, like start nodding their head, and at one point the director or whatever you call her,
We got to shut this down.
The talent's blue, the crew is red.
Yeah.
she comes up to me and she's like, "This is great. Like we've never heard this before," and I'm just thinking, I'm like, this is just common sense. And
Knocked it out of the park.
Everybody at the coffee shop knows these answers. And anyways, I invited them. I was like, hey, you want to go to the shooting range later? And they're like, yes. And the reporter's like, no. Like, anyways, but they were like super excited about it. But halfway through the interview, like we did a camera change and all that, they had the families with signs of their kids' names like ready to go. And I didn't know this. And they brought them all out. We were in what's called an open rotunda. And then they brought all the families out and had them stand there like holding their kids' names up. And she's like, what do you have to say to these families? I was like, your government let you down. Anyways, like I just shoot them. Same thing with the ball. So like just tell the truth. And anyways, I didn't give them anything. So when it came out, it came out worldwide. Like it was, in Australia and some other places. And anyways, they only used like I think 1 or 2 sentences from me at that
You didn't
point.
give them what they wanted.
No, and then anyways, then I started getting tons of hate mail from like around the world of how terrible I am, that all those kids deaths are on mine, and then that leads to the Kerrville stuff. I voted against a bill that had a lot of problems on it. It was dealing with creating a council that had no transparency to oversee grants, dealing with emergency warning systems and stuff like that, or radios, and so I voted against the bill.
That's just
Yeah.
money being spent
Yes.
out the door.
Yeah, it's just
then-
money laundering.
Yeah.
Radios weren't going to stop the water.
No, and so a liberal liberal news media caught me off guard with an interview, and they were like, "Hey, you voted against this," and I was like, "Oh, I don't know what that bill is. I have to go back and look at it." I said, "But what I'm seeing right now, maybe I would have voted different." And then they created this catchy headline that says, "State representative regrets vote against warning systems," blah, 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 which is not what the bill was about. And we went back and reviewed the bill. I was like, "Oh, it's a terrible bill." We're dealing with thousands of bills, so I can't. If somebody says, "Hey, what do you think about HB 13?" We're like, "I don't know what that was."
Right.
Anyways, but then it just became like a month long while I'm trying to deal with all the stuff that's happening
Like
in Kerrville.
helping rebuild and
Yeah,
help.
it became a month long of social media attacks saying that all those girls that died at the camp were it's
your fault.
It's on your head. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's absolutely bonkers. I have family members and friends from my wife's side of the aisle. Not aisle, just like she knows them, I don't.
Yeah.
Who have like actively texted her when that happened, and they were like, "Did you know the government didn't even send out warnings? There were no warnings sent out because Donald Trump got
actually
rid of
wasn't
everything."
true at
And I
all.
said, she
Actually.
texted him back and said, "I literally have the warnings on my phone."
Yeah.
Like sent him
Yeah,
screenshots.
it's
It was
just
like,
you get those all the time.
yeah, you don't expect
What you
the
don't expect
river
is
to
the
take out an
1,000-year
entire
flood
town.
of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a flood that nobody had seen.
No.
No generation alive had seen that
No.
flood.
No.
And they're saying it was probably 688 years from what they know of historical evidence or whatever.
Yeah.
That it was 688
Right.
years since a flood that high had come
Yeah.
through. So
I've never when we went and we volunteered for a day and did like body
Yep.
like search and,
Yeah.
and I was blown away by how high the
Trash was 35 feet up in the
Yeah.
in the
It was wild.
cypress trees.
There were trees 35 feet up in trees.
Yeah.
there's some camp owners. They don't want to go public with the story, and I won't tell their name or their camp. But there was a cabin. They had woke up in the middle of the night, so they're roughly 280 yards from the river, and it's a big kind of open field. Like just imagine if it were like a bunch of soccer fields, like kind of that open. And anyways, the wife wakes up in the middle of the night, and she hears a bunch of noise, so she goes out to the balcony of their house. Their house is 2-story, like the garage is on the bottom, and then they're kind of up on a cliff edge kind of thing. And
Yeah.
anyway, she walks out on the balcony and she sees a dining room set from their cafeteria for their camp, like go by, and she doesn't realize that there's water, right? And she
It's
yells,
dark, yeah.
she yells at her husband, "Hey, I think our dining room set just went by." He's like, "What?" And he gets a flashlight and goes out and looks.
What are you talking about,
And
woman?
the river is all the way up. They're 280 yards from the river.
Yeah.
They've never seen it get even halfway to that with the biggest floods that they've had come through there. And immediately they're like, "We got to, make sure all the kids are good." And so they go down to the cabins, which is not super far from their house. And they go down the cabins, and they look over, and there's a cabin with about 40 boys in it, and the water is all the way up to the roof, to the bottom of the roof, the eaves of. And anyways, for just a second, the water goes down a couple of feet, and he's like, "I got to get over there." And so he goes through about chest deep water, gets over there, goes inside the cabin, and looks up, and all the kids are in the rafters. They had all climbed up into the rafters. And he tells them, he's like, "Hey, I need you to be brave. We're going to link arms. We're getting out of here." All the kids come down. It's about 40, 45 kids, something like that. They link arms. He gets them, back across from the flood, out on dry land, and then the cabin just gone.
my God.
Anyways, that dude saved, 45 of his kids, but the media would have you believe that the camps were negligent and not heroic or anything like that, and so
Yeah.
it's pretty
How
sad.
did we get to that point in American politics where like we can't even acknowledge the good things that happen? on the
Gets
inside?
more clicks.
Yeah.
There's a movie called Anchorman 2 about it. Yeah. It's
That
a
is
complete
such a-
satire on the news.
It's
actually.
such historically accurate movie, though.
It is.
24-hour news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we going to report on? We'll just make it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the first time you watch that. It's that movie and Idiocracy. The first time
Yep.
you watched them 20 years ago, you were like, and now you watch them, and you're like, this isn't funny at all. Like,
That with the media stuff, and I'm trying to keep it as short as I can, but the media stuff, there's a lot of media organizations that make a ton of money off of dramatic events.
Oh, yeah.
And so
We're one of them.
Yeah. But it's
Tackett's life.
they want to, when you have the best thing we can do when you have a mass shooting is not to push it out there and show what the shooter did or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
But they make so much because if you can get enough people viewing your TV, then you can sell your ad spots for
right.
more. And
Yeah.
that's the gross part of
That's the
that
thing.
glamorizes
I
it.
wish you could grab adult Americans and like make them understand that it's an entertainment TV show.
Yeah.
It isn't. It
Yeah, it
isn't
is
the
not
God's
the-
voice on high telling you the reality of what happened. It's
Yeah.
just someone trying to sell Maytags.
I can tell you, I've done interviews with people, especially before I was elected on the gun stuff, and there's one that sticks out in my mind where like I knew I needed some certain information to be put in there, but I didn't want my name tied to it, and so they interviewed me and they put a portion of that as interviewing me, and then I mentioned I was like, hey, I don't want my name associated to this, but and I can't remember what the facts were, but I just like, here's this. And then when the article comes out, it's like someone else says or whatever. And it was just like how easy the news is actually manipulated that you're reading. So, and there are good journalists out there, but there are some opportunists out there too. So,
Yeah.
A lot.
but yeah.
Absolutely.
Quite a few. Is there anything else that people who are watching can do if it's you got another run coming up, right?
Yeah, go to VirdellForTexas.com,
Okay.
donate to the campaign. That's super helpful. It helps more than people realize.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is government knows everything about you. You should know everything about government. Don't be the serf that government gets to dictate what you do. You should be dictating what the government does. So,
Excellent.
all right, I'll quit.
Well, Watson, would you like to take us to the Patreon exclusive Aftershow?
Dare
Never
you?
letting it go, dude.
You're never letting it go. Well, thank you for being here, everybody. We had a fantastic time. Wes, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And if you would like
Sir.
to check out the Pepperbox exclusive after show, we will be available right over there. There'll be a link in the description below where you get some extra time to hear us go on with Mr. Virdell. Thank you very much. And Nolan,
Wow, we're glad you came.
It's so awkward that I don't have anything to say at the end of it.
you say that every time.
Yeah,
and
you
that's
say
great.
that literally every time.